have Alan and Randy or either of them do an interpretation of some of the parts of that order, and then we're going to go into staff recommendations for the 4th of July, and then we'll make a decision, get on. So,
Mayor, the G28 material is not on the agenda.
well, it has to do with our discussion tonight. It is.
You have to tell me how.
It's an order that discusses groups of more than 100 people. It gives orders for how.
I'm telling you, that's not on the agenda.
So then we can't talk about 4th of July then, Randy, because that's what it's.
No, we can, because that's on the agenda.
Well, but the 4th of July has an agenda of over 100 people, and that's what the issue is does it apply to the 4th of July? That's the question, is order. So we're talking about the 4th of July, and so Alan, go ahead. Give us some input on that.
I was hoping Mr. Nix would jump on and give the input on this.
I could tell he was looking at you.
Oh, okay. GA28 came out today. It took the place of GA26. GA26 was a very vague ordinance or very vague executive order when it came to groups, outdoor groups of greater than 500. The governor tried to lower that to 100 and created confusion when he did that today by Executive Order 28. He clarified 26 by saying that the county judge or a mayor, whoever had jurisdiction, could would be required to permit or allow outdoor groups of 100 or more. And I think that's where the question about the 4th of July came up, because we were anticipating several thousand versus a small amount.
But what it does is though we have an order now that says we can't have over 100 folks in a gathering, it does allow for an exception to that, so which would apply to the 4th of July then.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So so I guess I guess that is the interpretation then. So we do have the ability to host the 4th of July parade and or event downtown, like the fireworks and the events after the parade, if we decide to do so. So why don't, Alan, you and I went over some of the staff recommendations. Why don't you?
Yes, sir. I was asked to come up with, or asked to have staff come up with several alternatives to what we can do for July 4th. It was asked that I start with the most restrictive and go to the least restrictive. The first one would be to cancel all the activities for the 4th of July. We'd have no parade, no concert, no fireworks. It would be done in response to COVID, and thus would most likely be able to, any loss of payments would be able to be made up to by the CRF funds. The second one would be to cancel the parade, have the concert and the fireworks. There might be some loss of revenue if we did that. I'm sorry. The second one was to cancel the parade and the concert. I was getting ahead of myself there. I'm sorry. That would result in some loss of revenue, which could be covered again under CRF. The third one is to cancel the parade. Social distancing would be difficult if you had the parade. The fourth one would be to hold all festivities, and that would require the folks, or we would require the folks in the parade to wear masks. While we couldn't require the folks watching the parade to wear masks, we could have employees walking down the street giving masks out. CETA has ordered 5,000 masks. We have approximately I'm sorry, we have, approximately 1,800 at this point. We've ordered another 20,000. So we should be able to have sufficient number of masks for everybody involved. The final alternative we came up with would be to move the fireworks, the concert, and the parade to an alternative date such as Labor Day. While this could impact some of the deposits we've paid, we do have contracts with the fireworks and performers and stuff that deal with COVID and allow us to move things around. Any loss on that could, of course, be paid for by CRF. After looking at the alternatives, given what we've seen, we have gone from 16 cases on May 31st to, I think today, the number jumped up to about roughly 120. Now these are diagnosed cases. We have about 85 or 86 that are current active cases. Another problem with putting on particularly the parade is literally everybody we have in rec, with the exception of the part-time janitor and Jen, are on self-quarantine due to exposure to the folks that we had both at the swimming pool and now the rec center. The folks that are in quarantine from the direct contact at Splashville come off of quarantine on the 3rd, which is a week from today. While they're off, they're still working on everything, but it would be kind of difficult for them to come back on a Friday and have the huge event on Saturday. I think for our community, perhaps having this on Labor Day, which would be a Monday, it wouldn't interfere with high school football. Tarleton's scheduled to be out of town that Saturday, so a significant number of folks would go to Sam Houston probably to watch them play. It's my recommendation that we delay. I don't know how to say it. Delay the 4th of July till Labor Day. And Mr. Mayor, that's what we as staff respectfully recommend.
Yeah, let's just go down. Since we're on Zoom, it's kind of hard to see who raises hands and stuff. But let's just start. I think everybody's on. So Mark, what's your opinion?
Mark's on mute. You're okay.
Yeah, looks like I'm okay.
Yep,
Okay.
you are now.
There you go.
Okay, so the only alternative that you gave, other than moving everything to Labor Day, that kills the fireworks is if you cancel everything. Is that correct? All the other alternatives would include the fireworks?
That's correct. The last alternative would be to cancel the fireworks.
Okay. I mean, could the fireworks go off on July 4th in a safe fashion if everything else was canceled?
What we would have to do is we would have to mark the asphalt parking lot so that the cars could be oriented to the way that the fireworks go off. And we would have to mark it so that there's a distance between the cars and there's sufficient room for people to get out of the cars and walk to the front of the cars. Could it be done? Yes.
Okay. Who's place 2? Is it be Nick?
Justin.
Justin.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yes, sir. I think at this point, we would have to be provided some kind of understanding or assurance of social distancing to encourage people to gather in large groups at the park. To be able to proceed with that would be my opinion. So I think that if you're looking for my opinion of what he said, I think at this point the delay until Labor Day, and we can just assess things at that point. I don't know what will be resolved. Hopefully that things are under control and we're not increasing by double-digit figures at that time. But I think that I'm leaning towards something along the lines of a delay in certainly not having a parade or a large gathering of any kind.
Okay. Nick?
I'm good with a delay and a reassessment later. I would like to see if we could figure out a way of doing the fireworks, but if we can't, I understand. But as far as the parade and the park activities, I think it's responsible at this point to at least delay.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, there's one other, I guess, alternative, and that's to close the park. When we looked at the potential logistics, we believe that would be an absolute nightmare. We already have trouble on 377. All of the parking lots around the park are always full. About the only redeeming thing that we could come up with is that it would free up folks for Chief Harris, who are normally in the park, that would be available to keep 377 moving, and that would just be very difficult.
Okay. Brady?
Can you hear me, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a couple things. I know I sent Mr. Barnes a article from the Appleton paper today regarding that they have decided, pretty much the administration decided to ignore the recent order that came out today regarding the governor's declaration. So I think that's important to take note of. It gives us great deference to local government to make decisions like this. And as our esteemed Supreme Court has already told us about a month ago, that there is no COVID exception in the Constitution. And I understand the logistics that comes into it, trying to schedule this, especially with the parade probably being problematic. But my opinion would be, I think the parade is probably something we're going to have to pass on. But I sure would hate to see that we don't continue on with a July 4th celebration of some type, especially after the promises we've already made to the whole state of Texas. I know things change, but I sure think that we need to continue, and we can continue in a safe manner with a fireworks celebration along with possibly even the concerts. But I can see some more problems with the concert, but for sure I think the fireworks is something we need to continue with, and I would strongly encourage the council to continue with the fireworks on the 4th of July. It makes no sense to celebrate that on the day, in my opinion. So that's my position.
Okay. Ricky?
Can you hear me, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I would be in favor of postponing certainly the parade to Labor Day. I think it's very important that we celebrate our freedoms that we have in this country, and we don't lose sight of that. And that's what July 4th is all about. But that certainly poses a lot of danger with our current situation in Stephenville. So I would be in favor of postponing the parade to Labor Day. I believe probably the activities in the park as well. I would like to see the fireworks continue if there's a way that we can do so safely. I don't know if there's a lot of people that will watch that outside the park. We don't have to have 2,000 or 3,000 people in the park in order to enjoy those fireworks and still have some sort of celebration to celebrate our freedoms in a traditional way that we're used to. So that would be my recommendation, is to postpone the parade and the park activities and continue with the fireworks with some social distancing measures put in place at the park.
Okay. Alan?
Doug, I'm really struggling with this. We have trouble on 377 anyway. Several other fireworks displays in the area have been canceled already. And I fear if those are canceled, that congestion on 377 and the potential dangers there would be even worse. I fear Chief Harris and his men and women, even as capable and qualified as they are, would have a hard time controlling that. And I really doubt that TxDOT would be willing to close 377 for us so we could do that. That having been said, the parade and the activities in the park, both I think need to be postponed until Labor Day. And I think for everyone's safety, the traffic and the other safety factors also, would be better to postpone the fireworks display until Labor Day and try to celebrate our independence then and have somewhat of a normal celebration at that time like we would normally have on the 4th of July. And I know that's not what a lot of people are going to want to hear, but I think it's in the best interest of the health and safety of the community and those passersby on 377 to do it that way.
Okay. Brandon.
I would, as several others have said, I think that the parade and the concert being delayed to Labor Day and have it, hopefully we're in a better space and can have that coming out is good. But I would definitely like to see a way for the fireworks to continue to allow people to safely get out with their families and still enjoy a tradition that we have. And I think I would hope that would be something that would definitely be doable. I understand some of the concerns that Mr. Nix pointed out, but I think that it would be, in my mind anyway, I think it would be something that we definitely should try everything in our possibilities to do. So.
Thank you. Gerald, I forgot I skipped past the names in the wrong order and I just skipped it. Sorry.
That's okay, Doug. I've been giving a lot of thought to this too. I was looking at the TML information, and it stated about 4 different types of things in evaluating large gatherings: the overall number of attendees, the likelihood of individuals over the age 65 attending, the density of the forum or ability to ensure social distancing of 6 feet, and the level of transmission in the county. One, we can't separate on the parade. We're not going to be able to keep people 6 feet apart. We're probably not going to be able to keep 6 people 6 feet apart at a concert in the park. The level of transmission in the county is exploding right now. It's really going up. Like you said, Alan, I believe you said we've gone from and May 31st from 16 to 120 or so today. It's been terrific. 16 today so far. I think we tested 97 or 98 yesterday. Those have got to, I guess we'll get the results on those. I really believe that it is best, the parade to be canceled, the concerts to be canceled. I would love to see a way for us to do the fireworks. The only thing I worry about there is the logistics of it and being able to keep people apart. And I just don't know how we can do that. If we could, and use that as an opportunity to pass out some masks, for free and things like that, well, maybe that would be a good thing for those in. But I frankly, that's putting Chief Harris people and the city people in a risky situation too. I think I would probably go along just fine with having this at Labor Day and having the celebration then. I fear that we can reevaluate this at that time. And I feel like that's probably the best way to go.
Okay. Chief, you want to jump in on this?
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. And I think just the one way to sum it up for us, if we went just with the fireworks, as many have discussed, traffic would be very challenging for us and a concern for us. But we will we will make anything happen that the council and you would like to do, Mr. Mayor. We'll do our best to keep it as safe and as possible for everyone in all aspects of it, whether it be COVID or the traffic pattern. Yes, sir.
I can tell you that everybody on this call knows that's your attitude and the entire force's attitude. I guess what I'm asking is I'm really asking for advice. So as chief, if you got to make the decision on your own, what would you do?
If I was to make the decision on my own, I would say Labor Day for everything.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Alan, you want to add anything to that? Mr. Barnes, I mean.
No, sir. I stand by my recommendation of transferring everything to Labor Day. We are seeing an increase in cases, but the alarming thing to me is that we've gone from about a 2% positive rate to just about 5%. Now, again, some of that can be contributed to the fact that we are giving more tests. But the ratio between the number of tests and the number of folks testing positive is the number that really concerns me. It's my understanding that we have, I think, maybe 2 people in the hospital, 1 or 2 people anyway in the hospital with COVID. So we're not near a capacity issue with that. It's just that we don't know what's going to happen with this. We don't know. There's just so much. We know so much less than we know more, and so I still, as a citizen of Stephenville, believe that Labor Day is the best choice. But again, as Chief Harris said, whatever you guys decide, we're going to put on the best show, whether it's a week from Saturday or September 7th.
I checked with some of the medical community in the last couple of days. Let me give you a couple of stats that I got. One of them is in this last week, we've had just yesterday, excuse me, of all the tests that were given that came back yesterday, 20% of them came back at a positive rate. That's enormously higher than the typical. Now, for whatever reason, that being an anomaly, that's not statistical, but it indicates some concern on my part. And then the second thing is right now we have 7. Until just a few days ago, I think we had 0 COVID patients in the hospital. And as of today, the hospital, they added 3 patients today for a total of 7. So we have 7 COVID patients. If I'm reading this text message correctly, we have 7 in the hospital today with COVID. Is that what you understand, Alan? Or did you get that information too?
No, sir, I didn't get that information.
I got that from one of the physicians in town about, it came in 4:00 this afternoon. So we have it has exploded. Now, I do believe that some of the other orders that the governor has instituted, we're going to have to deal with one of them next week. We're going to do that on, is it Thursday, I think? One of the other orders, because we have some opportunity to possibly make some amendments to that as well. But on this particular case, I'll tell you, I'm going to lean towards, instead of separating the party, if you will, the parade, the events after the parade, and then the evening, is my personal opinion, it would be better just bringing it all at one time. I'm not opposed to the fireworks being pulled out and especially just to have that event by itself. But I mean, my personal opinion is it would be better if it was on the same day, the Labor Day, like Alan and the staff have recommended. So, but is there anybody else want to say anything? I mean, we don't need to. It's like we're not going to beat a dead dog to death. So, anybody else that want to say something, give you an opportunity.
I just like to make a motion, Mayor.
Make a motion.
I move to proceed forward with the fireworks only for the 4th of July celebration.
Okay, so Brady has made a motion to proceed with the fireworks only on the 4th of July.
Second.
Yes, who? That was. I'll make sure I say
Brandon. Brandon.
Okay. According to the order, well, never mind. Let's just go ahead and vote. Anyway, is there any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, this is Ricky.
Yes, sir.
After hearing Chief Harris's opinion, I wonder if we could ask him to elaborate on that, why he would, what problems he would anticipate with that versus a typical, but versus the traffic problems we typically have with a fireworks display.
Chief?
So, yes, sir. So again, oh, I'm sorry. I missed you on that last part.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
So as a couple of things were mentioned, one, this is my first 4th of July as your chief. And so I have not experienced that before. And so I have to rely on the expertise of my staff and especially the leadership team. And so as was previously mentioned, talk about 377, you talk about the bridge, keeping the bridge open. So TxDOT owns that. I don't know that we've ever asked TxDOT before to close 377. So that would be one issue there. But I'll start with alcohol, drinking and driving, and 4th of July holiday. That's one of my number one concerns is being able to control that aspect of it when everybody's off and that aspect. So second thing is that we as a staff, one, we won't have any time to be handing out masks or discussing social distancing or please put this on. We will be solely dealing with the 4th of July will be traffic control. And so I know I've experienced this just on Memorial Day weekend myself alone at a very small but critical incident. And I've got a citizen that absolutely refuses to do what I tell him to do and was not intoxicated, was not going to stop for me and did not stop for me. And so that happens every single time you direct traffic, whether it's in an accident or anything major, people are not going to obey your orders. And so without being able to completely shut down highways, completely prevent traffic, that's a major concern for us as the police department, is having to deal with those individuals who are not going to obey traffic control devices, such as your emergency lights, such as your cones, such as anything that you place out there. So the second aspect of that is what Councilman Nix made a mention about. If Granbury's canceled, if all of the others around there say Stephenville's open, we know for a fact. I was eating at an establishment today and they said, Chief, everybody's coming from the Metroplex here to eat because they're getting away from these issues in the big city and they're coming here almost daily. And so we know we have a large volume of traffic coming in from other areas right now just to enjoy Stephenville. And I believe that will be something that is a grave concern for us there. So it's a totality of those circumstances where our entire focus will be, one, the traffic control period, but just getting the citizens to follow those during the fireworks aspect of it is a major concern. Does that make sense? Or I can continue on, but.
Yes, sir. No, that does. Thank you very much. Public safety is obviously the number one concern, the reason we're having this meeting. So thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Mayor, do we have any information from the local medical community on what their recommendation would be for this? This is at least in part a medical decision, I believe.
Well, the decision about the fireworks would be if we were to do something like, I would assume, like Alan talks about going down into the park and having people, how would you keep them apart from their vehicles? You talk about parking space, you can stand by your vehicle, etc. So I guess in that sense, it would be, could you enforce social distancing or whatever? Otherwise, I'm not too sure it is. The safety issue is really, I think, the law enforcement, if how much that applies. So I don't know if that answers your question, Alan, or not, but that's just my opinion.
Okay.
Anybody else? But I can't see whether everybody's on there waving their hand or whatever. Gerald, are you gonna say something?
I think Randy's got his hand up.
It's muted.
Okay, Randy?
Yeah, you're cutting out on me. I missed everything you said there. The last.
Your opinion? You want to have an opinion on this?
No,
Okay.
sorry. No.
Okay. I thought you raised your hand. It
I
said
just
you were.
couldn't hear you. I
Oh,
couldn't
okay.
hear you, man.
Okay. You hear me now, though? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Mark or Gerald.
Okay, I'll go. After listening to all of you, I fully agree with Chief Harris and Alan and that, and you, Mayor, that I believe we ought to put this off until Labor Day, and I will vote accordingly.
Okay. Mark, did I hear your voice?
Yeah, I would just ask the question if any consideration's been given to an alternative site to fire the fireworks off from that would preclude the traffic concerns indicated tonight.
Alan?
The only place I thought of was perhaps working with Tarleton. I know they do fireworks at their stadium, but again, the social distancing concerns arise. Plus, I have concerns as high as we normally shoot our fireworks. That's certainly very close to a residential neighborhood. Other than that, I can't think of any place. Jason's on the call. Maybe he can. Jen might be able to, but the football stadium's the only place that I thought of.
Mayor and council, this is Jen. Yeah, I would agree with Alan that there's not really any locations that we've thought of that would house something that big. In addition to the height that we shoot them off, we need a very large radius of clearance before anybody can even be around that. And I'm not even sure the stadium would suffice because we clear that entire side of the park when we shoot them from City Park.
Okay. Anybody else?
Why can't we maybe potentially, if we're concerned about the site location, I mean, I don't think it's any better necessarily, but I mean, it's ag farm at Tarleton.
You said the ag department? Is that? I'm sorry.
No, out of the agriculture center at Tarleton, Mayor. I mean, I think it's probably the same regarding traffic, and probably worse potentially what we have in City Park. But if we're looking for alternative locations, I think it's probably the best.
Okay. Anybody else recall?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I just received a text from Dr. Doggett, and I'll read it verbatim. Alan, if they want a medical opinion, we are in a pandemic and common sense dictates shut it all down. That was a quote.
Yeah, he gave me the similar quote. Anybody else?
I guess I understand the traffic concern, Mayor. I guess I just don't see people being in their cars celebrating the 4th of July. And maybe I'm being a little naive and thinking that people will maintain distance in their cars. But I just don't see how that's going to cause any additional concern or heighten the condition we've been in currently. So I think if we can continue with the plan accordingly, I mean, I think we'll probably talk an hour most of inconvenience for the police department. And I know those people there are more than willing to serve. And as Chief Harris said, they'll do whatever they can to make the council, I mean, their desires need to see it happen. So, I mean, I think that's just our best plan to see some type of mountain setting support these times. We have something. I mean, this is an important holiday, our nation's holiday. And so I think there's no better way to celebrate that than being safe and contained inside your own car watching fireworks.
Okay. Anyone else?
Is there a way to effectively keep everyone in their cars to watch?
I'll defer to Chief Harris about that one.
I think it'd be extremely difficult.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I would not want that job, Chief.
I wouldn't either. I don't think you can do it because, too, if you've gone down there before, I mean, people get out and they're sitting in groups everywhere and together. I mean, it's going to happen. And good gracious, I'd hate to be the one that tries to separate them. I don't think you can do it.
All right. We'll proceed to vote now. I'll do a roll call just because I can't, so we don't, it's easier to count that way. Mark? Aye?
Yep.
Justin?
No.
Nick?
No.
Brady?
Aye.
Ricky?
No.
Alan?
No.
Gerald?
No.
Brandon?
Aye.
Okay, that's 1, 2, 3 ayes, be 5 noes. Is that correct, Stacy? Is what you got?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, thank you. Motion fails. So is there another motion? I mean, there's the authority by the governor's order is, pretty clear, but I want to have everybody's feedback on it. So is there another
Mayor.
motion? Yes, sir.
Mayor, I move
Mayor.
that we postpone the July 4th celebration until Labor Day and/or until the council makes a determination prior to that to go ahead with it or cancel it altogether.
Okay, have a motion.
Second that.
Alan, I heard Alan first there. Motion second. Any discussion?
Does the concert need to be included in that, or is it just the parade? Are we doing 3 separate votes?
We're going to do, I'm doing right now all one. I'm assuming that's what it is you're doing out, Gerald.
It is. It's all of everything included.
Okay, I apologize. I misunderstood.
Any other discussion, questions? I'm go ahead, Brandon.
I'm just gonna say, I just wish that we could look at alternatives, and I know this isn't easy for anybody or any decisions, but that's the reason I voted for fireworks, is that we can have something if we could try to find a way to be alternative. So that's why I will continue to vote that way. So
Okay. Okay, anybody else? We'll proceed to vote. Mark?
Mayor, can you real quick, can you rephrase what is the motion for the council this time? I couldn't hear the whole thing.
I'll restate the motion as I heard it, and that is basically to postpone the entire event till the Labor Day or a date of which the council comes up with. Is that good? Gerald, is that correct?
It is.
Okay. Mark?
It's a reluctant aye, Mayor.
Justin?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Brady?
No.
Ricky?
Aye.
Alan?
Yes.
Gerald?
Aye.
Brandon?
a consistent no.
Okay, so that gives us 1, 2, that's a 6 to 8. Is that what you get, Stacy?
2 to 6, sir. Yes.
Okay, so vote 6 to 2, motion passes. Any further discussion about the event? Alan, does that give you what you need for today?
Yes, sir. We'll put everything in motion to get a press release out and let everybody know.
I'll visit with you here in just a little bit when we get off and about some logistics and stuff, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Randy, you have any suggestions or anything you want to say?
No, sir. Sounds right. Sounds right.
All right, remember we have a committee meeting on Tuesday. Gerald, is that your committee?
It is.
And then on Thursday, Justin graciously moved that his committee to the next week on, well, I'm not sure he's the next week. He's working with Stacy on another date, but we're gonna have a meeting on Thursday. And on Thursday, we're gonna talk about masks. That was one of the things that was in operating of businesses. And I think that Brady, I want to talk to you offline about it. There may be another possibility in the governor's order that we may want to address. So anything else, gentlemen?
Mayor, if I may, I think this is an extremely difficult call for all of us because everyone looks forward to the parade. Everyone looks forward to the celebration of our nation's independence. It's a huge, huge part of our culture and a part of our community. But right now, again, I know I've said it before, we're in unprecedented times. And right now, in the best interest of public health and safety, I think this is the right choice for us to make. To help our citizens and to preserve the integrity of our health as much as possible.
Anyone else? Hearing nothing else, we'll stand
Yes.
adjourned. Go ahead. Who was that?
It was me, Mayor.
Okay.
The Thursday meeting, is that that was determined by y'all. Is it worthwhile to consider, or is it even possible to consider to move that forward? Like to Monday or something earlier to consider the face mask issue?
We can look at that, Stacy, and I'll look at it. We went through a list yesterday, or was it the day before? I can't remember. And there was one day I couldn't do it, and then you have Tuesday occupied already, and
Yes.
and everybody's already scheduled, so I wasn't about to move that. Reschedule those folks, and so because of that, looked like the best day. But I don't mind getting with Stacy and making to see if there's some other opportunities, and we'll get back with everybody.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
we can post it tomorrow. It could still be it could still be Tuesday, I think. Or
Yeah.
is that still there? Y'all still there?
Yes.
I don't know. Okay. I'll get with Stacy and get back with everybody on that meeting then. But we're gonna meet next week and we'll talk about masks, and we'll probably talk about one other agenda item. Brady, I'm gonna call you in just a minute, if that's okay. I don't know if he's still on the phone or not. All right, we're gonna stand adjourned at 6:14. Thank y'all.